What does the future hold for, obviously, your business? Because we've seen that you've now got your new sheep farmware range out. You know, you're expanding massively. What does the future hold for you now?
Well, I'm very pleased to say that we are now the second largest premium sausage brand in the country. We'll be number one in about another 6 months' time, so that will be great news. Not only do we have sausages, but we have chicken, we have bacon, we have cheese, and we also have sauces. And I want to be an international brand. That is what when I started off, it was always to be an international brand in the English-speaking countries. And with the Black Farmer clothing range, I've really wanted to try and bring something different to rural wear. So the thing that's going to make me really happy is if I come back here this time next year and there's most of you people wearing my clothing, I'm going to be a very, very happy man.
You heard it here first, so obviously everybody go and take a trip over to Wilfred's stand. So thank you, Wilfred, for chatting to us. And I just want to know, you know, is there any advice that you've got to all these budding entrepreneurs out here today who have an idea? You know, we all appreciate the fact that you need a lot of self-belief to go it alone in business. What advice would you give to our crowd out here today?
Well, the most important piece of advice is this: it's outsiders who change things. What you've got to do is that you've got to ask yourself, are you the sort of person that always questions? Are you the person who says, well, why? Who says? Because what you do when you're starting up a business and you have a new idea is that you're breaking the rules. You're not, and a lot of people like the status quo. So if you're one of those people who like the status quo, it ain't for you. You've got to say, well, the way they make this or the way they're doing that is rubbish. My idea is much better. You have to be able to challenge the status quo. It's exactly what I did with my sausages. I went and I looked at all the sausages that were out in the market, and I thought, you're disgusting, they're rubbish. I want to do something that's much better, that's going to be at an affordable price. And that's the sort of thinking that you have to have, is that it has to be challenging. You want to bring a point of difference, and that's the key thing.
Brilliant, thank you. All right, we're just going to see if anyone has a question for Wilfred. Anyone like to ask Wilfred a question? What's your question?
Nice to see you. Glad you got in Parliament. Great. I want to start an airline, and I've done the feasibility study, and I'm looking for serious investors now. Can you recommend anybody?
Okay, I didn't hear all the questions.
Well, the gentleman wants to start his own airline, and he's looking for an investor. So if you come and see me later, we'll be on the Midas Touch panel, where you can actually pitch your business. But this isn't. This is a general question for Wilfred about Wilfred's company that we're looking for. So you can have a look at the Midas Touch panel, and we're happy to answer your questions there on that. Thank you. Anyone else have another question? Come on, all you budding entrepreneurs out there, you must want to know secrets to success, some inspirational advice. Right, so we have a lady over here.
Hello. I heard what you were saying about how you need to have passion, you need to be able to challenge and things. I'm looking to start off a recruitment consultancy business. What sort of advice do you suggest that I should have to do that?
Lady wants to start her own recruitment consultancy business.
What sort of advice? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I've used recruitment agencies. Well, I haven't used them in the past, but a lot of recruitment agencies have approached me. And the key thing for me would be this, is that if I'm going to be paying good money as an employer, good money for your services for a person, what, in a sense, I'm going to want is the guarantee that that person is going to stay with me for a long time. So the monies that I'm paying to you is going to be worth paying. And I suppose the only way you could guarantee that your business is a success is the people that you place. Because at the end of the day, if I spend money with you to place someone who only stays with you for 6 months a year, I'm not going to feel that's being of good value for money. And so with the internet and with all of that stuff out there at the moment, if I want sort of casual people, I will go down that route. The most important thing for business is getting good people. In fact, one of the most difficult things about running any business that you'll all experience is people. People are a real pain in the arse. And especially if you're an entrepreneur, you've got everything is on the line. Your house is on the line, your life is on the line. and their employers are then starting to, giving you a hard time because they split up with their boyfriend or whatever. So you then have to sort of deal with things that are not quite important to the business. Now, I do not have the patience for that sort of stuff. So I was sensible enough to find people to sort of deal with it. But it's the most annoying things about running your own business, actually dealing with people. And so if there was somebody or an organization that could deal with all that shit or deal with all that sort of stuff, it would make my life so much easier.
Thank you, Wilfred, for answering that question.
You mentioned some setbacks. I'd like him to give me an example of a setback and how he overcame it.
Okay. Can you give us an example, Wilfred, of some of the setbacks that you've experienced in business and how you overcame those setbacks?
Okay. Well, you weren't at my seminar earlier, so I'll give you this example, because the reason I'll give you this example, because it's just happened to me. It happened a week ago. So I told you earlier on that I launched my Black Farmer clothing range. And my strategy with the clothing range is to go around the country exhibiting it and selling it at lots of shows and selling it online. Now, there's something at Winchester called the Winchester Christmas Fair, where you have something like 250,000 people who come over a period of 3 weeks, and it's meant to be really, really spectacular. So I spent a lot of money paying for the stall, paying for staff, setting up. It cost me about 20 grand to set up the whole thing. This thing has been running a week, and I've only made 500 quid. It's been an absolute disaster, an absolutely fundamental disaster. And so what I'm doing is that I'm pulling out. So we were meant to be there up until Christmas, so we're pulling out on Sunday. So that's the earliest we could pull out, just to try and retrieve some money. And so what's been the lessons? The lessons are that it's bloody cold out there, and people don't want to strip off and try on a jacket or a waistcoat. It's not the thing they want to do. In a market type setting, again, they don't want to buy upscale clothes, as you'll see in that sort of setting. So it's been a great learning. And I think one of the things about running business is that you will make a lot of mistakes in business. And I've been running a business for a very, very long time, and I've just told you about a mistake I've just made recently. And what you've got to do is that you've got to see that these mistakes are quite important, and they help you to learn, and don't give yourself a hard time for making those mistakes. So I've been doing my best not to give myself a serious kicking over spending 20 grand that, just totally wasted. But I won't make that mistake again, let's put it that way.
Wonderful advice, Wilfred. Thank you very, very much for chatting to us today.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be seeing you throughout the Business Startup Show here, so thank you once again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.